consistency and doing it early is important. One of the reasons that I am, and I'll still get on because I want to know what the current environment is as far as prospecting. And one thing that I've noticed is in the last 2 years, with the number of, and I know it myself because I get so many dang like robocalls, and it's making me crazy. Is one of the things that I've noticed is people don't pick up the phone the way they used to, and that's harder. One of the other things that I've noticed is that the quality of leads coming from the RedX through Vortex has improved dramatically. So I know I'm getting them, but they're not picking up the phone, and they're used to that. And it's interesting to watch my children. You know, my children will not answer the phone if they don't recognize the telephone number. I mean, my gosh, they won't answer the door. You know, they're like, if it's one of my friends and they want me, they'll text me and I'll go answer the door. And I'm like, you know, that is not the world that I grew up in, you know, where it was the telephone starts ringing. We have no idea who's on the other end, but everybody's racing for it because you know what it's like to be left out when people have invited you to go to a show or they invite you to go do something fun and they're like, well, we tried to call you and we couldn't get a hold of you. And there's a reason that we have the type of communication we do now is because it answers some of the shortcomings of communication that we had when we were kids. But it's obviously changed the way people communicate as far as that goes. And so one of the things that I've noticed is that I just have a hard time getting somebody on the phone. So one of the things I've done a lot with is with the Rolodex, it actually allows you to email out of the app, and so a lot of times I'll do almost a rote email that's pre-programmed. Send that email to them the day before, and then I've tried prospecting them the next day after there's been an introduction to who we are via email or text message, and so. There's a lot of that, and I think that with me, because I'm out of the prospecting consistently like I used to, I'm probably not the best person to ask about that. There are probably people that get on the phone still every day, and you ask them how they're dealing with it, and I think their answer would probably be more valuable than mine would, because I'm not going to starve to death if that doesn't work for me anymore. Mm-hmm. So I'm okay if it doesn't. But I'm always really curious, and I'm, like I said, I feel guilty for not doing my prospecting every morning now sometimes, because I had done it for so many years. It got to the point where for 10 years straight, I didn't miss. If I missed 3 mornings, that weren't a holiday where I was taking the day off, but I actually went to work, and it was a work day, and I didn't prospect. It was probably 3 times a year. Maybe that day that you go to work and you probably shouldn't have because you're feeling sick, but you had some things you had to do in the afternoon, and I'm just like, I'm beat. I'm not going to do it. But it was really anomalous to go to work and not prospect. That never happened. But then there were probably, this isn't something that we just stopped doing cold. We still pay for the Vortex and RedX, and we still use it, and but it's gotten down to where it's like, oh, yeah, I haven't done that for 2 weeks. I better have a bunch built up. I'm going to get back on the phone and I'll give it a shot. I've got some hours this afternoon. I'm going to call through.
And then is it shocking when somebody actually picks up the phone?
No. They still pick up the phone. It's just that the likelihood of the percentage of pickups are different. The auto dialer works really well for that because it calls through. It's going to find me somebody. But I'm surprised at how rarely they actually pick up relative. How many times you have to actually have that thing ring before it picks somebody up. That's something. When I started prospecting, like really prospecting in 2001 every day, I would say that probably 60% of the people that I called picked up the first time. That doesn't mean I always had the right number, but usually at that point, more than anything, I was prospecting for sale by owners. They'd given the number. 60% of the time when you called that number, they would pick up the number and answer the phone. And that doesn't happen anymore.
So
and
now it's
interesting.
voicemails. Do you leave a lot of voicemails?
We leave a lot of voicemails, and those actually are strangely effective. Mm-hmm. Now, at the same time, it's an automated way to leave a voicemail, and so it doesn't take any of my time to do so. And so if I leave 50 of them and I get a response, that's a good use of my time, because I'm not going through the script, leaving a script for a machine. That doesn't happen. So I just push a button, it leaves a voicemail, and then I'm on to the next one.
Yeah, very efficient. So really your words of advice is just stick with it, consistency. You know that the landscape's changed dramatically since when you had to do it. Mm-hmm. But I think you're more just like the light at the end of the tunnel. Like if you do this right and you stick with it, and it's not a short-term thing. You did it for 12 years, it sounds like.
Yeah.
You get to the point where it all starts to pay off.
Yeah, it does, for sure. When you, I know I've got a ton of clients. When we look, like I can open our multiple listing service that I've been licensed since '94. I can open the multiple listing service and I can look up, when you look up each of the different classifications and you search for my name as the agent that sold the property, I can find 2,000 properties that I've sold in there since 2000. So in 18 years, I've sold 2,000 homes. With my partner Matthew, it averages 50 a year for us, probably. It's about right, 50, 60. A lot of those people, I have no idea. If they approached me in the store, I would have no idea who they were. But there are enough of them that I've picked up and I have a consistent relationship with. We did 3 transactions this past year with one woman who we've probably done 40 transactions with.
Oh, wow.
And so lost one of those where she went and got her real estate license 2 years ago as well. Another woman that we've done probably 40 transactions with went and she got her license and came and worked for us for a while, and she's off and running and she does a great job. But we have enough of those where they will call us and say, hey, we need some help. That keeps us busy.
Mm-hmm.